What's going on YouTube? So today, really quick video on how to install a high idle on your 2011 to 2016 Powerstrokes for free. Now I say for free, but it might cost you $1. This is literally all you need, one resistor. If you can't find just a single one, you can buy packs of like 100 on Amazon for under 10 bucks. So really it's gonna cost you next to nothing. There are some really nice kits out there like the BD high idle switch with the potentiometer, but if you don't want to spend a couple $100, this is essentially gonna get you there and it's gonna be just as good. We're gonna set it up on the factory auxiliary switches and it's super simple and I'm here to show you how to do it. So this resistor is just shy of 22,000 ohms and that's gonna give us an idle just under 1200 RPM. This will be perfect for winter high idle. Here's the chart straight from Ford, so you can see the resistance value in the center and your idle value on the left. Higher the resistance value, the lower your RPM. I do think it's crazy these trucks don't come with a factory elevated idle or high idle. I'm a GM guy, so I'm used to that. But credit to Ford, they make it easy to add after the fact. So coming under dash here, we are going to find this big bundle of wires here. And then there's a nice little tag labeling all the circuits. So we are looking for PTO reference, that's a white and brown, and PTO RPM, that is green. So we're gonna connect those two circuits with our resistor. And then right by your park brake, there should be 4 other wires that look very similar. These are for your auxiliary switches. So if you want it on auxiliary 1, you're going to want the yellow wire right here. I already have that set up on a light bar, so I'm going to be using a different circuit, but it really doesn't matter which one you use. That's just your 4 different outfitter switches. Here's the chart right from Ford. For your auxiliary 1, you want yellow, auxiliary 2, green and brown, auxiliary 3, you get the idea. So just pop these out of the sticker there. White and brown, green. Let's connect these 2 wires together. So we have the green wire connected with our white and brown tracer. Our resistor is in here. Don't forget your heat shrink. And now we want the PTO request. So yellow and green right in the center of the tag there. I already have that guy pulled out of the loom here. And we're going to connect that to one of our upfitter switches. And that's the last step. PTO request signal, the yellow and green. And I have it wired to switch number 4, straight brown wire. So I chose switch number 4 just so I'm not accidentally hitting high idle if I reach for my light bar quick on switch 1. Just my preference. You guys can use any of these wires you like. Now, let's just make sure it works. So all my switches are off here. Let me just back out of the garage. So you have to have your e-brake on just a little bit. And now let's try it out. So that resistor actually worked out perfect. We're building about 3 pounds of boost there. Really good high idle. Really happy with how it turned out. 22k ohm resistor is perfect. Now I really want to see how it'll work with command start. So I'm going to leave the switch on. My parking brake is on just a little bit and let's hit the command start. So it does not work with the command start. So I realize these switches are not live when the key's not in it. So as soon as you turn the key, now we got our high idle. So that's a little bit of a bummer. All right, back to the drawing board here. So we have the high idle rigged up to auxiliary number 4, but what good is high idle if you can't use it with command start, right? So I have a solution. Relatively simple still, we just need to make those switches live when the engine's running. I don't want them live when the engine is off, because for this high idle, if you leave that switch turned on all the time, that LED stays illuminated, and I don't want it to kill the battery if you leave it for a day, a week, something like that. So I just want it live when it's command started, and I'll show you how to do it. Initially, I was thinking of just stealing 12 volt power from your 12 volt outlet, because that is live all the time. But if you did that, these switches would stay illuminated when the vehicle's just sitting. So like I said, don't want to kill the battery, not going to do it that way. Let's head over to the BCM, and we're just going to move one pin, relatively simple. I'll show you which pin to move. So just coming in on the passenger side kick panel here, this is our BCM. We're going to disconnect this connector. So that connector's out. Now we just have to pop the lock out and split the connector here, and I'll show you what pin it is. Kind of hard doing this with one hand here, but just a tiny little locking tab, and this guy slides out. All right, so now we have this connector apart. We're gonna take terminal 6 and move it to a different slot. Now there are a couple slots you can use. Number 2, that's a vacant slot because this truck doesn't have a heated steering wheel. But that circuit is shared with the rear heated seat module as well. So instead of using that terminal, I'm going to use terminal 9 because that's completely vacant and there's nothing shared on that circuit. But it would work in terminal 2 or 9. Number 9 is for multiple fuel tanks, and very few trucks actually have that, so 9 is just going to be the terminal most guys should choose. And that is still a 10 amp fused circuit in this fuse panel right here. So very safe to do if you did have any issues for whatever reason. It's still protected by a fuse, no risk, and it's just the way to go. Relatively simple. All right, so counting your pins here, number 6 is violet. This guy right there. So we've got him pulled out. Let's switch him to hole number 9. So we officially have it swapped to pin number 9. Let's plug it back in and see if it works. Everything's plugged back in, looks factory, no hacked up wiring. I like it. So now our upfitter switches are still dead with key off. So I can leave my high idle switch turned on. And now when we command start it, it should go straight into high idle. Let's try it out. My auxiliary switch is on, nothing's powered right now. So that's good. I can leave it like that as long as I want. The battery's not gonna die. Now let's command start it and make sure it works. So, no key in the ignition, upfitter switches are live. And with it off, everything's working perfect. So there you go guys, start to finish, how to wire in your high idle to your auxiliary switches and how to make it work with the command start. And I did all of this essentially for free. So if this video has helped you save some time and money, give it a like, and cheers guys, we'll catch you in the next one.